Hi, everybody,
Colin.
and welcome to today's webinar. We're really glad that you could join us. But before we dive in, we'd like to walk you through the agenda so that you know what to expect. So we're going to start with a brief introduction to today's speakers and the format of the session. Then we'll hand things over to the team from Temu. They'll share an overview of their platform, how they work with sellers and partners, and some exciting opportunities available for those looking to expand into new markets. After that, ChannelUnity will take the stage. We'll walk you through how our platform integrates with Temu, how we support merchants through automation and synchronization, and what the onboarding process looks like. Once both presentations are done, we're going to move into a Q&A session. You'll be able to ask questions live, and we'll do our very best to cover as many as we can in the time that we have. Finally, we're going to wrap up with a few quick next steps and some helpful follow-up resources. Right, okay, so speaking today, we have Joe Bill and Swapnil from the business development team at Temu. We also have Matt Ross, co-founder of ChannelUnity, and myself, Connie Gwillam, onboarding account manager at ChannelUnity. Okay, so before we get into the details of how ChannelUnity supports integrations with Temu, we're going to start with a deeper look at Temu itself. So Temu has quickly become one of the most talked about marketplaces, and for good reason. They've built a very powerful platform that's creating exciting opportunities for brands, suppliers, and sellers around the world. So to tell us more about Temu's approach, their growth, and what it means for merchants, I'm pleased to hand over to Joe.
Thanks, Connie, and thanks for ChannelUnity as well for sort of organising and setting up today's events. Briefly, so my name's Joe. My background, I spent the best part of 15 years previously at Wayfair, building out the European business. I joined Temu a little under 6 months ago as part of the local seller program. We'll obviously talk a lot more about what that program is and what it entails. Before we begin, I sort of want to just sort of give a little bit of context on what myself and our teams and the leadership team at Temu UK is sort of focused on, and that's really driving local sellers to scale fast on the platform, to take share quickly. Temu as a platform is already quite a well-established and large marketplace, but initially and for the first 2 years of operation was very much Chinese sellers exporting product. We're looking to change that. We're looking to build a more locally relevant platform, and we'll sort of run through a few of the numbers as we begin. So the team at Temu right now, we're a little late to the game, obviously from a marketplace perspective, but it is very much an all-star team. We have ex-Amazonians, ex-eBay guys, people from Wish, OnBuy, TikTok, Wayfair, a whole host of different marketplaces. So we're really bringing that expertise into the business to help sort of channel how we move forwards and how we localize the Temu platform within the UK and beyond. So Matt, if we can move on to the first slide, please. So Temu really is at this point a major global platform. We're operating in over 90 different countries, very rapid expansion in a very short time frame. The Temu brand has only really existed for the best part of 3 years. Temu is the international arm of Pinduoduo. Pinduoduo is the 10th largest marketplace in China. So we're coming from a very large base that has allowed and established and allowed us to establish and really grow ourselves in each of our respective markets. In the UK in particular, we have over 13 million monthly active users as of 15 months ago. That number is growing. So for the best part of 2024 and so far through 2025, Temu is the most downloaded shopping app, both on Android and iOS. And almost 90% of our traffic is coming through via apps. So we are in quite a dominant position at the moment in terms of new customer acquisitions, but monthly active users is incredibly strong. The last number I would sort of call out here is typically customers are spending almost twice as long on Temu versus other platforms such as Amazon. Some of that is down to the gamification and how we sort of advertise and acquire customers. But another aspect of that is purely how we're constantly showing new products, new suppliers, new sellers. And so our customers are finding that it's becoming part of a daily routine to come back and see what's new on Temu, and typically are spending up to 20 minutes per day sort of scrolling through the app and through our product listings. Next slide, please, Matt. So I've touched on this briefly, but there are three really key reasons why people are shopping on Temu. So the first aspect is purely the gamification element that hooks people. It keeps people coming back and opening the app each day. We are slightly unique in that the majority of our traffic, the vast majority of our traffic is coming via the app. And that is purely based on the fact that people can open, they will receive new offers, new coupons, new incentives to really purchase through Temu. These are Temu funded mechanisms. It's seen as a marketing tool. We spend less on Google than our competitors. We give back to our customers from those that are opening the app with us on a daily basis. The second is affordability. So I think it's well recognized. Temu is a low-cost platform. We look to make sure our prices are very competitive in the market, and the ability in which we have from shipping products over from China and exporting products in really has given us an upper hand in terms of price perspective, and also from a price parity perspective in terms of our competition in the market. And finally, ease of use. So we hear time and time again the navigation aspect, the click to pay aspect of the mobile app are very self-intuitive, but we have a long way to go still. We're a very customer-centric, customer-first business, and so there's a lot of work that continues to happen on developing that app further. Next slide, please, Matt. Cool. So here we're just flagging just a few numbers. So there was a survey done earlier on this year, and really we were just trying to build a starting point for us to sort of anchor around as we build out our local initiative program. So this was done in the first part of 2025. And we were pleasantly surprised with some of the numbers. As mentioned, we were thinking about this more as an anchor point as which we are to build from. We plan to sort of improve these numbers further, but we are seeing obviously over 80% of respondents believe Temu delivers value for money. 4 in 10 British shoppers expect to spend more on Temu this year than they did previously. 25% is the average amount that a customer believes that they are saving by shopping on Temu. It's quite a significant amount. And the final number I would call out on here is that the overwhelming majority, well over 70% of UK users, said that they're extremely likely to recommend Temu to others. That's great from our marketing and our customer acquisition perspective. It's meaning that customers are having a great experience and are very positive about, one, coming back and purchasing more themselves, but obviously encouraging friends and family to come back and purchase on the platform. Next slide, please, Matt. Okay, so I just want to give a little bit of a segue into the local seller program, the local seller initiative that we have. And so I want to take a step back. And I touched on this right at the start, but explain a little bit of the life journey that Temu has been on in the last 3 years. And so for the first 2.5 years of Temu operating, it was entirely run out of China. It was Chinese-based sellers exporting products, typically air freighting products into local markets and selling products. Long lead time, that limited the product selection because of weight and obviously some of the restrictions around shipping of certain products. We realized as a business that if we were to really scale and really become a dominant player in the market, we need far greater local selection. We're missing product types, so there's a lot of products such as paint and food that it's just not possible to ship from China. We're missing local brands. And that really is what the local seller initiative is all about, is building local relevant selection for our customers. Okay, next slide, please, Matt. So I started talking here about the timeline. I'm going to gloss over this a little bit because I've touched on some of these numbers already. But we did launch the seller program around 12 months ago now. And we've got it off to a great start. We're rapidly ramping up the team. The team were there entirely to support sellers. So there's over 30 business development managers now in the UK who are focused on onboarding UK-based sellers, making sure those UK-based sellers benefit from the local seller initiative programs that we have, but also helping you scale on the platform. A lot of things that on Temu are very similar to other marketplaces out there, but there are some differences, particularly around how we price products and how we advertise and market the products. We can touch on some of these later on, but that team is there to provide local person-to-person support. Next slide, please, Matt. Okay, so the reasons, some of the additional reasons for why we've launched local to local. And so we had a huge number of sellers, even prior to the local initiative program, that were a huge number of buyers, prior to the local initiative program. Those customers were typically buying unbranded generic product. This was product that they could pick up on other marketplaces, other stores, but because of the unique business model that Temu offered, which was air freighting products directly in from China, we were able to come into market at a very, very compelling price. The trade-off was long lead time. But in most cases, we found that customers were prepared to wait for certain product types. There's a couple of examples here of jackets, safety shoes, utility trousers, fairly generic, unbranded products that are not distressed purchases or urgent purchases. They were usually the products that were bought on Temu prior to the local initiative program. What we were finding was these customers were wanting to buy more on Temu. They were wanting to buy top brand power tools. They were wanting to buy local brands, local products. They were needing to buy items that ship fast. A job came through, a tap burst, a light bulb blew. They needed products that would ship fast and be delivered fast from a credible brand. And that's really what we're trying to tackle here, is to make sure that we are able to take a far greater share of the customer's wallet. Next slide, please, Matt. Another quick example. So again, typical Temu purchases pre-local program: food containers, dispensers, sort of plain t-shirts, clothing, stationery, generic unbranded product. What the customers were wanting and asking for far more, and would buy these on other marketplaces, is books, local pet food, branded electronics, perfume, products that they know or that they could trust via a UK brand, but wouldn't take the risk with an unknown brand. And that's essentially what this local to local program is all about. Locally relevant selection on the platform, well priced, shipping fast. Next slide, please, Matt. So we think this is a major opportunity. I think most of us many of us, myself in particular, can think back to the times when a lot of people said no to Amazon. And obviously there's been an evolution, and you can't not say no to Amazon now. They're an incredible business. We think Temu is well positioned to be the next Amazon. We think this is a major, major opportunity for sellers to diversify their business, hit a new customer base, a new customer cohort. These are customers that are physically opening the app and wanting to purchase on Temu. And there's certainly a first mover advantage right now because the local program has only existed for 6 to 12 months, where those sellers that come on early will reap the benefits for the next sort of years and decade to come. So there's some real opportunity right now. And finally, it's a fairly low risk opportunity and a low risk experiment. Most businesses are now set up and geared towards operating on marketplaces. We operate very similar to every other marketplace. Based on some of the chargeback fees, the seller fees that are applied elsewhere, Temu should be one of your most profitable marketplaces. Next slide, please, Matt. And then I just want to finish up, just spend the next couple of minutes on the last two slides. And this is highlighting that a wide range of businesses can be successful on the platform, and the opportunities are equal, whether you are a very large multinational brand. We've got the example here of Samsung with some of the Galaxy phones, and also then small medium enterprises focused in the FMCG space. So these are two examples here of two quite successful sellers. They launched very early on. So the left-hand side selling tissue paper. They launched 4 SKUs at the back end of last year. And in the first month, they're driving over 1,000 sales. They are now the #1 seller on Temu. The second example is relating to a very large, well-recognized brand. And again, this is evidence of the shift in consumer expectations of purchase price on Temu. So a lot of people have the perception of Temu is low value, low price point, £2, £3, £4, £5 item products. In this particular situation, this seller is regularly selling items well over £500 in value. The highest ticket item exceeds £800, and at the moment they're seeing orders well into the hundreds. In the first month, they had over 150 orders. So it gives you there's a broad spectrum of opportunity, a broad spectrum of sellers can and will be successful on Temu. The recipe is quite straightforward. It's onboarding and adding as much selection as possible. It's pricing competitively with all of the marketplaces out there, and it's delivering fast. Well integrated with companies like ChannelUnity, and investing in some of our accelerant programs such as advertising, marketing, and coupons, and also some of our SKU advertising tools that we're currently launching. And the final slide for me, Matt. Cool. And to conclude, we've just thrown up a number of examples here of some of the more recognizable brands that you can now start to see on the platform. Again, this is a shift from very unique, generic, unbranded product. We now have Nintendo Switches, PlayStations, finished dishwasher tablets, quite a broad spectrum of branded product, locally relevant product that is starting to do well. The primary reason that these products are able to win versus some of the unbranded, generic, cheaper Chinese alternatives is because we actively promote local seller listings. They appear higher in rank, they are far more visible, and it's all part of the program in which we are trying to shift revenue towards local sellers. And with that, Matt, Connie, I'll hand that back over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Joe, for that really insightful presentation. It's always really exciting to hear how that platform is evolving, and obviously it's creating those new opportunities for sellers. So thanks for that. Right, okay, so we're going to shift gears slightly now and take a look at how ChannelUnity fits into this picture. So our next segment will show you how ChannelUnity integrates with Temu to make selling on the platform even easier, from product sync to order flow and inventory management. Okay, so I'm now going to hand over to Matt, and he's going to take us through the overview of ChannelUnity.
Okay, thanks, Connie. Some of you watching today may be familiar with ChannelUnity and some of you may not. So I'm going to give a brief overview of what we do. So ChannelUnity is a marketplace integration platform that keeps your online store at the heart of your business. So whichever e-commerce store you use, such as Shopify or Magento, we keep track of your product information and automatically sync this with the marketplaces you sell on. We sync a number of types of data, most notably customer orders from marketplaces are downloaded by ChannelUnity and placed into your online store for fulfillment. And one of the central features of ChannelUnity is the category mapping tool. And that allows you to map the categories from your online store into the platform. From here, we automatically know which categories to use on the respective marketplaces you're using. So this setup work doesn't need to be repeated every time you add a marketplace. So if you're a ChannelUnity user already and you've done your category mapping in the tool, then the Temu categories are already known and there's no further work to do in terms of setup. So to highlight on this slide, the online stores or shopping carts that we integrate with, our full list is here. So we've got Shopify, I think everyone's heard of that one, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, Magento, and Shift4Shop. And we have additionally integrations with a couple of well-known ERP systems. These are NetSuite, SAP Business by Design, and SAP Business One. So the setup process for the online stores is normally quick. It's usually just a case of installing a plugin or an app from the respective app store. The ERPs tend to be a bit more involved due to their nature, but you'd be assigned an onboarding specialist for the onboarding process. So in terms of Temu, ChannelUnity is fully integrated with Temu. I'll just show you these sort of top level features. So we have the capability to create product listings and update these over time. There's no category restriction, so you can list standalone or variation products. That includes clothing items that require size charts, etc. You can upload in bulk if you wish. So if your data is ready to go, there's nothing to stop you from listing 1,000 products at once. We recommend starting small though and building up to bigger numbers. The system can automatically submit pricing information and keep stock levels set correctly. Orders will automatically download from Temu into ChannelUnity, and then these are sent across to your online store. When you ship orders, the shipping information, including the tracking numbers, will get submitted to Temu. It's important to use a tracked service. So during the launch of our integration, we've been focused on the UK market. However, we have the capability to launch your store into any region that Temu supports. So a little bit more on how it works. If you're not yet registered as a seller on Temu, this is a relatively quick process, and after this session we'll send out some information, including a link you can use which takes you to the registration page on Temu. When you're up and running and logged into the Temu Seller Center, you'll add the ChannelUnity app via the Temu App Store, and you'll get a code which you just input into ChannelUnity, and that connects ChannelUnity to your Temu account. One of the first things you'll need to think about is setting up things like base prices for listing to Temu. And we can go into more detail about this, but the base price is essentially the amount you receive when the product sells. And it's actually quite different to how other marketplaces operate. But we can advise more on that topic. Other than that, the setup in ChannelUnity is very straightforward. If you're listing products, the data used in the listing is driven by the product field mappings you've set up. You can also set up Temu specific data if you wish, to sort of get the best results. It's possible as well with ChannelUnity to add data to your listings that you don't really want in your online store. And this is called data enrichment. So what you can do with that is you can upload a spreadsheet of extra information. For example, clothing material types if you're selling clothing, and that will enrich the listing. So that's a rough overview of the process. I want to hand back to Connie, and we'll talk a bit about onboarding.
Awesome, thanks Matt. Yeah, so we offer a very comprehensive seller onboarding process at ChannelUnity. What we're going to do is we help to ensure that the initial steps run smoothly, and we equip you with the tools and knowledge you need in order to manage your account properly. There isn't really a fixed length of time that an onboarding process can take, as all projects are unique and they do come with their own specifications. It can go quickly or at a more steady pace depending on what you're comfortable with. There might be particular project elements that need addressing, and we'll work with you until that's done. In terms of the actual onboarding process, the steps will be outlined on this slide here. So the data audit that we do, this involves reviewing your product information, and then we compare that to the Temu data requirements. We ensure that your SKUs are correct, barcode data is present. We also check that the images meet the minimum requirements, as well as looking at category-specific data elements. Some categories do need more data than others. So we're going to have a chat with you regarding your overall business setup and requirements, and then we'll provide you with a proposal. This allows you to check that we've understood what you need us to do. So if you're new to ChannelUnity and not yet familiar with the platform, we're happy to set up field mappings and category mappings and show you how this works. We'll get you started with product listings too. For example, we can list the first 5 or 10 SKUs or one particular category of items. If any required data is missing, then we'll work with you to get that resolved and get your first set of listings accepted. So one process we also do is order import testing, and this is where we can send through orders into your cart with dummy data, which allows you to ensure any connected systems correctly recognize the orders for fulfillment purposes and so on. So once you're up and running on Temu with ChannelUnity, we have a range of monitoring systems and access to our post-go live support, where we operate a help desk ticket system. If you ever need a chat with us, you can always book in for a call. All right, so when you choose ChannelUnity, you're not just getting a software platform, but a support team who are skilled and experienced in e-commerce. We are excellent problem solvers, and we usually know the answers to questions. If we don't have an answer, there's a good chance we know somebody who does. We're constantly monitoring all those shopping carts Matt was talking about before, and marketplaces that we integrate with, in order to ensure our integrations all stay working correctly. This does take up a significant amount of time on our side, but as a seller, you're insulated from this so that you can stay focused on running your store. If you have a complexity to your integration requirements, we're happy to help with this. For example, if any customization is necessary for you, we can take care of that. It doesn't necessarily mean extra cost to you, as it might be something that we can simply adjust on our end, and we'd be happy to do so. Our system truly supports creating listings in bulk and higher order volumes. So when you get massively successful on Temu, you can be rest assured that ChannelUnity can cope with the volume. So we've designed a number of specific tools which are based on real sellers' needs, and some of these can have a benefit for Temu in particular. These include image adjustment tools, whereby we can automatically adjust the aspect ratio of an image in order to fit Temu's requirements. It is a massive time saver, especially if you have a lot of products. So you might find yourself in interesting situations if your Temu sales take off. You may find you are selling stock too quickly and want to save some for other channels. You can use ChannelUnity's inventory tools to set up limits. So once your overall stock count goes below a certain threshold, you can pause selling that item on Temu. Right, here we go. So as attendees of this webinar, I'd like to mention that we have a special offer just for you. So we're offering you a free onboarding service to Temu. That's right, you heard it, a free onboarding service for Temu. And if you would like to take us up on that offer, please email hello@channelunity.com. Right, people, we're going to move into the Q&A portion of the session. If you haven't done so already, feel free to pop your questions into the Q&A box, and we will do our very best to answer.
I think there is a couple, Connie.
Excellent. Question time.
Connie, do you see the questions, or can I also share some of the questions?
Yes, please feel free to share those questions.
Oh, okay. So this could be for Temu team, either Joe or Alan, if you could take it. I've got some questions here. Could you share what's the best-selling categories on Temu right now, and what type of products tend to perform best?
Yeah, so maybe I can kick off, and then Alan certainly layer in. We're obviously we're covering two of the bigger verticals here between Alan and myself. Alan, maybe you can give yourself a quick introduction as well, just before the follow up. So typically, from a local seller perspective, certainly electronics is an area that we are doing particularly well in right now. It's obviously heavily branded. And a lot of those brands just don't come from sellers that exist outside of the UK. So electronics as a category is doing well. Home, it does very well. Part of the reason that we're so successful in home is one, because of our typical customer dynamic, and secondly, there is it sort of complements a lot of the generic unbranded products that people are typically purchasing for Temu. There's a lot of gadgets that people have on the first purchase with Temu, gadgets for home, gadgets for children, gadgets for pets, and so you naturally see those types of categories from local sellers are very complementary to some of the very low price point products that we see from China. Alan, I don't know if you want to layer in anything there.
Yeah, no, thanks, Joe. Yeah, just a quick intro of myself then. I've been at Temu for 4 months now. I head up the toys and hobbies and the FMCG category here. Before joining Temu, I was director of sales operations at OnBuy, and before that, I was director of European operations at Wish. Just to give a bit of context. But yeah, I think Joe kind of nailed it. The way I like to see it is there's kind of like 3 pillars where I see the most success for our local sellers. And that is what we've got completely empty shelves. So these are products that you just can't get from China. So you think about sort of the FMCG products, food, books, media, etc. You just don't get those from China. Then you've got this sort of the sweet spot, sort of branded products. So again, these are the products that you wouldn't buy from China. So that the branded electronics, Joe said, the branded sportswear, sports equipment, those ones do really well. And then the final part, which Joe already touched upon as well, was the bulkier, too big to ship ones. Within that, really seeing very strong growth in the FMCG, in the beauty space. So sort of branded perfumes, makeups, health supplements, etc. Again, because these are products you can't get from China. The way I like to see it, it's a greenfield opportunity. You just don't have the same competition that you have on Amazon and other marketplaces as you do here on Temu at the moment now. So that's why we're seeing a lot of strong growth in particular categories.
Awesome. And then we've got some really relevant questions, especially around pricing. I'll club it up. One question is, do we have full control over pricing? And another seller has asked the same question around pricing. Are there any pricing strategies or guidelines that you could recommend for new sellers on Temu to be competitive?
Yeah, so typically we price to market, or we're looking to price to market. The cost of operating on the platform is 15% in most areas. We operate a very similar commission model to the other major marketplaces out there, namely Amazon and eBay. In relation to price control, Temu sets the retail price. The primary reason for that, and that is different to the other marketplaces, is we like to be able to have the opportunity to co-invest our margin into driving down retail prices at certain high traffic, big event periods during the year. All of the marketplaces require pricing discounts through events like Cyber 5, Cyber 7. That all needs to be seller funded discounts. Temu are here, that Temu will contribute and support. And so there is a co-collaboration in offering a very compelling price to the customer. So we're very much focused on, we will set the retail price, we guide you, we tell you how we set the retail price. As part of the product upload process, you can put in what your marketplace price is, and we will look to follow that marketplace price, providing that is competitive. Alan, I don't know if there's anything else you'd just like to add.
No, just in terms of like price and strategy. So not to get it too complicated, like Joe said, there's the marketplace price that you add, and then you add that base price, which is the price that you get paid for that product. And that's 15% lower, because again, it's the commission that Temu's take into account. A strategy that works really well is you might have a higher margin than 15%, and you might be wanting to drop it lower than that as well from day one on your base price. The trick is to not do that straight away. You can utilize those tools that Joe just mentioned about, like sort of lightning deals and the 3 different types of deals you can do on Temu. That gets you extra exposure. So if you're launching and you have a bit more margin to play with, I would do the 15% difference on your base price, not to confuse things, and then save the rest of that margin to then do temporary deals, because that gets you exposure on the app that you can't get through advertising, you can't get through anything else. That gets you up on that landing page of the app, which is a really great way. We've seen a lot of sellers really turbocharge their sales from day one.
Awesome. I've got a couple of questions. I think one for Temu, one for ChannelUnity. For Temu point of view, I've got a question from somebody saying, where is the customer support based? Communication with seller support on various marketplaces is very difficult due to operators being based overseas, language barriers, etc.
Yeah, so I'm going to make the assumption that this is the seller customer support as opposed to the end user customer support. And we are based in the UK. We are quite a large number of people, and we will put more people behind this as sort of a group of people that will support in you onboarding, support in you scaling, and work with you on new initiatives and new tools that Temu work. So the team is UK based. We do rely on operational partners that are sitting in China and in the UK. We're very early on in our growth stage in the UK. So at the moment, we're piloting having our account manager and our operations team also sitting in our UK office and our UK team. But there'll be some crossover with China teams based in China, but your primary communication is with the team in the UK.
Yeah, just to add to that, actually, what Joe said, mean, we had the same problem at Wish. We had a team based in San Francisco and a team based in China, and it was very difficult. It was always like broken down communication. That's what's great about us. Our UK team here, we also have our direct team in China who work UK hours as well. So if there's things that we can't get the answer for straight away because it requires something from HQ, we have that direct access and that quick response time as well. So whilst Joe said everything would come through for you in the UK, you don't have to really deal with the UK team, but we have that corridor straight to HQ if we need to escalate something faster for you on your behalf as well. So it's kind of best of both worlds.
Awesome. And I think from Channel Unity point of view, there's a question, Matt, if you could take that. Is customer support ticket based live chat or email?
Yeah, so we have a number of support channels. We have primarily our ticket system. We have our knowledge base as well that we're always updating. But also a lot of the sort of questions, etc., is handled via the sort of onboarding process we do. So usually that covers off a lot of stuff, and then sort of post go live, you can email us, or we'll give you a link whereby you can organise a call and we can chat through anything needed. So a couple of different channels there.
Yeah, and another question on the same lines, how easy it is for sellers to integrate their existing systems with Temu and Channel Unity? Are there any tools or support available? I think you could add a little bit more in terms of how long it takes to sync, item listing optimization, etc., Matt.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it comes down to the number of products, I suppose. But the sort of connecting up your online store is pretty quick. We just sort of mirror those products across, and then within the same day we can get your listing really. So it's pretty quick. The idea is that we'll get you up and running with a handful of products, and then we can sort of scale up from there. If you really want to list as much stuff as possible, we get the initial few running, and then we can just increase the volume within, I mean, in terms of time, it's pretty quick in a couple of days.
Brilliant. And I've seen that from experience with a few of our sellers that are already using Channel Unity. It's been pretty quick that way, clubbed with customer support from Channel Unity team. One more on returns, Joe and Alan, if you could take this. How does the return process work for sellers on Temu, and what should sellers know to make it as smooth as possible for their customers?
Yeah, so as per other marketplaces, really, our policies are quite similar. The Temu acts as the first line of defense. So we collate the information, we collate the data from the customer. We allow our sellers to provide a resolution, and that has got to be a satisfactory resolution both to the customer and to the seller. There are opportunities to appeal and reject certain return reasons and return issues. There are unfortunately a lot of bad actors out there who conduct sort of fraudulent exercises. So we protect our customers. Our customers are both our end users, and customers are also our sellers. From a returns cost perspective, so at the moment for local sellers, Temu is covering the return shipping cost, and that helps alleviate some of the cost pressures in dealing with returns. And then the final thing I would say on Temu is the returns that we see on the platform don't differ very significantly from a percentage perspective to other platforms out there based on the seller feedback that we have.
Yeah, I think Joe covered it all. I think the only other thing I would add to that is once that you have a chance to challenge a refund as well. So if a refund has been given back to your warehouse, you have 48 hours to then analyze the refund. I say it's not in the condition it should be, or it's the wrong item for whatever reason, you have up to 48 hours to challenge that and claim that. And then that's what we're here to help support you with as well. So if you need help with that, you have that UK team here, that BD or that account manager that you would have, who can help you with that as well if need be.
Awesome. I think we are pretty much covered on the questions. Joe, you raised shipping questions. I think it's pretty much covered,
I
or
think,
do you want to
yeah,
add it as an FAQ?
yeah, there was just, I think there was just one last question, which was around the nature of products cannot ship from the UK into the EU. That obviously includes Ireland. Can we restrict shipping location? The short answer is yes, you can restrict shipping location. We are very much focused on UK to UK, but we can and will facilitate as a growth opportunity cross-border sales if you wish. It's an opt-in rather than an opt-out. And within those shipping restrictions, you mentioned Ireland, we actually go a little further. And so certainly for large and bulky items, aspects of the Highlands, aspects of Wales, and also Devon and Cornwall are often seen as Zone 2 and Zone 3 for a lot of carriers. So there is the ability to restrict some of those locations also. For small parcel, those restrictions are not applicable because the national carriers do cover all of those postcodes.
Awesome. I think we've covered pretty much all of the questions. So thank you so much, Joe, Alan, Matthew, and Connie.
Yeah, awesome stuff. So anybody that's participated, if there's any additional questions that you think of, feel free to drop us an email on hello@channelunity.com and we can answer via emails. But yeah, thanks to everybody for attending today. And after the webinar, you will receive some more information by email. And we do hope that this session has been useful. And yeah, looking forward to speaking with you all soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Take care.